Hello, everybody. My name is Mops, and welcome to Infdev and Beyond episode 3. This is probably the most cursed episode because this is like the third time that I've attempted to do this episode, and it's been such a pain. So, firstly, I attempted to record the first time yesterday, and basically what happened was that I recorded like 4 hours of footage, and majority of it was just kind of me building in silence, and like it was just really awkward. I didn't really have anything to say. I wasn't, very, I don't know, I wasn't very energetic that day, and I built, some buildings and things like that. I redid the garden and everything. And by the end of the recording session, I went through and I put it into my editing software, and I was, looking through it, and I'm like, man, this sucks. This is boring. Like, the buildings looked nice, admittedly. I'm kind of sad about that. But otherwise, like, it was just me, like, trying to force structure because, like, I felt like I've been kind of all over the place with the past few episodes and being completely disinterested in what I was actually doing. So I decided that I wasn't going to try and force structure. Instead, I was just going to kind of go with the flow. If I'm all over the place, if I'm super inconsistent or whatever, that's just part of my charm, I guess you could say. So I reverted the world back to how it was prior to that episode. So everything is just as it was in episode 2, minus a few things that I'll probably point out. Um, and I deleted all the recording, and I went to record another episode or another take of the episode today. And luck would have it, as I'm just starting out the recording, my power goes out. So, I made a decent intro. I was kind of more, in a good mood and everything. And the power just goes out because of the weather. So, yeah, that got corrupted. The world got corrupted, which would have been a real big deal if it weren't for the fact that I'd already reverted it, and also I hadn't done anything in the second take. But yeah, this episode has been very stubborn. It does not want to exist. I don't know what it is about it, whether it be that I'm just really bad at planning things or organizing or whatever, or if it's just because God hates me. I don't know. But in any case, if you're seeing this now, it means nothing went wrong this time. So, what is this episode going to be about? What are we doing? This is going to be the last 617-3 episode. So, we moved on to this version in the last episode, and this is going to be the last episode before we move on to the next version. And the reason why is that after actually looking through this version of Infdev, I realize there really isn't a lot to do in these older versions. Like, once we get to the last Infdev version on our list, there'll be some interesting, features, like dungeons, for example. Those will get added. And I want to see if I can grab myself a spawner, since I think you can pick them up in Infdev. But in any case, I want to work on collecting a bunch of resources, because we're going to need a lot of wood, we're going to need a lot of stone, dirt, sand, and that's really all that this version, or like these versions, have to offer. It's probably not going to be until like alpha or beta that we start getting a lot of the really significant or decorative blocks, because right now we're just working with like the bare minimum. And yeah, I want to just collect a bunch of stuff so that once we move on to the next version, we'll have plenty of stone, plenty of wood, plenty of a lot of things to start working on the first settlement, which is the village that I want to build. And I've decided on a new area that I want to build the village, because honestly, I'm not really vibing with this specific spot. Like, this is a cool looking, like, pond and whatnot, and it is close to spawn, but I want something flatter, and there's an area right over in that direction that is almost perfect for that. So it's very close to spawn still, so we'll probably end up going over there during the day and, kind of setting up some little, like, little structures just for, like, planning purposes. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. But there's not going to be any major building in this episode. There's not going to be any crazy plans. It's just going to be collecting resources and getting ready to convert over to the next version. So yeah, we do not have a lot of stone. We don't have any wood really. We have a little bit of sand, decent amount of dirt, but we can definitely get more. So that's what we're gonna do. So I will wait until the morning before we go off and grab ourselves like some wood and stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. All right, the sun is coming up, so we can now start collecting our resources. So like I said, we do need wood, sand, stone, and dirt. So I think the first thing we're gonna go for is dirt and wood because it's all on the surface. I kind of got to go to specific areas to get sand since there's not a lot of these little beach areas I've seen. But in any case, we're gonna focus on the wood and the dirt right now, right after I kick this guy's ass. There we go. Thanks for the stuff, buddy. And yeah, wood chopping time. All right, we have got a lot of wood just in this one single little chopping session over here. And I also got some iron, which is nice. So I cleared out a good chunk of the spawn area because I want to build like a little platform or something like that for spawn. Since, you know, if I'm gonna die, I can at least, you know, respawn in a nice fancy area or something. So eventually I'll have to do some testing to see where the exact like radius of the spawn is, because I don't know if it's just like one singular block in this version or if it's like a radius. But either way, I'll have to make it kind of large for a radius, because unless I go into like the game rules later on in the future and replace the spawn like radius with a single block, which would technically be cheating, but I mean it's not like it's game breaking. It's going to spawn me in like a larger area. So I want to make sure that I can kind of encapsulate that entire area so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. But anyway, that's the wood done. So we'll take it back to the house, see how much we got, and then I think the next thing we'll get is dirt, because we're definitely going to need a lot of that if we're doing terraforming. So let's see. Oh my, perfect. 7 stacks. That is really coincidental, but like really cool, honestly. Yeah, so there's all of the wood. And we do have a little bit of dirt already, but given the factor that terraforming does require a lot of dirt, we're probably gonna want way more than this. And we might actually have to make some extra chests to fit all of the resources that we need. All right, so I found this spot over by the new generation. The like area that we explored in episode 2 is over there. The house is over there. You can't really see the pillar of spawn from here, but either way, there's this little hole here that I don't think is going to get used for anything. So I figured I would dig out this spot, and I forgot to put my iron into the furnace, but it's fine. In any case, we're going to dig out this spot of all its dirt and resources, and this will just end up being like a little quarry spot, I guess. All right, brought the dirt home. That is a lot of dirt, probably more than enough dirt. So last 2 things we need to get in large quantities are sand and cobblestone. So I'm smelting up my iron right now. I gotta make some new tools and things, but yeah, that should be all of the major stuff we need to get. Like, we should probably also get some gravel, but I think that'll come in time, because the only thing I really need gravel for is pathways. Same with stone, because it's gonna be like mixed up. But yeah, it's not as important as like sand, because sand we use for some of the wall designs I have. There's also glass that we need. So yeah, let's go get ourselves some sand. I do have to go find an area to dig the sand, so I think I might go this way, because I've been pretty much this way and this way, but I've never been that way or this way. So we'll go this way. To be honest, I might even change my mind on exactly where I want the village to be. I might say like, oh, you know, this spot looks good, and then like 20 minutes later I find a new area that looks way nicer. Because that's the area that I was originally thinking, you know, behind that hill. And there's this area. We got a little island here in the center. Or I guess a peninsula. And then there's some stuff over here. Alright, so this is the new world generation. And I wasn't really able to tell originally because this looked so natural. Like, for early Minecraft, that is, this looked kind of natural. But then I saw this hill over here. And yeah, that's definitely not normal. But this is a nice little spot over here. Whoa, look at that tree. That's gotta be some really lucky tree placement. It's just a singular, like, what is that? Like 4 dirt blocks in like a sideways T shape, and then an oak tree just sitting on top of it. That's pretty lucky. Here's what I think I'll do instead. I know obviously my priority should be getting sand because, you know, we're stocking up on things, but I'm going to take this moment to actually kind of walk around the prior world gen and see how much, like, old world gen there actually is, because I'm assuming not many chunks are old world gen. So we'll follow this border, kind of get an idea as to where it stops and ends. Ooh, that's a cool looking cave. And if there's anywhere inside of here that I think is like good enough to build like a village, I'll build it in there. Mushrooms. It's cool. I'll build it in there. But if not, I'll just say screw it, and I'll build it somewhere out here. Oh, that scared me. I wasn't expecting it to drop off like that. But yeah, you can really tell the difference between the old and new on the surface, because like most of the changes were underground changes, but despite that, the above ground looks way more like diverse in the newer generation. Like, this looks more natural, while this looks really like desolate. That is a cool looking mountain. This entire area looks really cool. You got this little overhang here, and you walk through, and it leads out towards this giant hanging mountain. That is just something else. Like, wow. I really like this. This is amazing. But we're on the newer side now, and it's really obvious that this is the end of the old generation. I mean, this is like an entire mountain range that's cut in half, or like a plateau or something. Just keeps going. See an even bigger mountain over there. Do you see that? Hold on. We'll take a moment to detour for a second. Look at that. Dude, that is insane. I don't know why, but like current Minecraft generation does not impress me the way that this impresses me. Like, I don't know what it is about it. It's just so gigantic. Even though it's not. Like, this is actually smaller than modern Minecraft's stuff. But I guess it's because, like, everything in newer Minecraft is big. So it's like, you don't really get to appreciate the size because it's all kind of the same. But this, it's like, you got these really low sections, and then all of a sudden you just got that. And this. And it looks so alien, too. It's not like just, like the more natural looking terrain. It's just like very artificial, but trying to be natural, if that makes any sense. Okay, we've run into a bit of a problem. Is very mountainous over here. So I think I can see the border there, which means that it goes over there somewhat. Not sure where it ends, but just based off of the steepness of that cliff and the proximity to where I think, yeah, there's the floating island that I was pointing at in episode 2. So over there is that border. Huh. So all in all, not many spots that really lend themselves well to building. So I guess I'll just pick a spot and start digging out some sand like I was supposed to. All right, this is the hole after I have finished excavating it. We've got 3 and a little bit less than 4 stacks of sand. I probably could have gotten more, but my shovel's broke and I don't feel like mining by hand, so I'm going to say that that's fine for now. We'll end up getting more sand eventually anyway. I mean, especially when deserts get added, we can just use those if those get added within the beta period. They should get added in the beta period, I think. But anyway, that should be enough. So now I think the last thing we need is stone. So I'm going to head back to the house, and we're going to go into our little hole and do some digging over there. So yeah, I'll see you over there. I see some coal. I'm going to grab that too. All right, I'm back at the house. Sand is in the chest, and I moved my upstairs chest down so that I could pull the stone and stuff in here. So that'll go there. And yeah, think we are ready to go and get some stone. So let's go get that right after I kill these pigs, because you can never have too much food. See, these early Infdev chunks are actually quite convenient, because if you really need like a large amount of stone and you don't want to worry about like random caves or lava like getting in the way, you can literally just dig a hole anywhere, and it's like 90% just stone with like almost no air pockets. So outside of like the occasional ore that you might find here and there, like coal or iron, there's really nothing else but stone. So if you need a large amount of cobblestone, this is the place to come, because there's just so much uninterrupted cobblestone right here at your disposal. There's also a secondary reason for why I'm using this staircase for mining as opposed to going anywhere else. And it's not just like the convenience of it, it's that there's actually something about this area, like the chunks here, that make it kind of valuable for future projects. I won't say too much until we get there, if we get there. There is a chance my pick will break before then, but in any case, I'll show you guys what I mean when we get there. Oh, there it is. Gotta be really careful. So this should be immediately obvious to anyone. This is the void. So underneath the OG Infdev chunks, there used to be either just a massive, endless expanse of lava that would kill you when you fell into it, or, in this case, just the void. Now, I believe, if I remember correctly, the newer chunks in Infdev, which would be this update, they replaced this with the bedrock floor that you're probably familiar with from, you know, pretty much alpha, beta, all the way up until Caves and Cliffs. So, the update that we specifically chose was the last major update that had this old, just stone bottom. Now, I think if we had dug down here in the last update, this would have been lava. So if we had dug down here, it would have just been a giant sea of lava. But now that lava's been removed and it's just, you know, the void. You might wonder why, you know, we'd want to dig down here and expose this. And presently, there is no reason, because we can't build underneath here. So it's just kind of, you know, there. But in the future, specifically after Caves and Cliffs, I'd like to do something with this, because we might be able to use this. It's just going to take a really long time of getting to this area. But in any case, that's now exposed. So that was kind of the secondary goal for this tunnel. But I've got a good amount of stone right now. Probably could get more, but I got to make new pickaxes, so let's go do that. All right, stone is collected, and I think we've got more than enough to get ready to start like planning out the village. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to a spot that I found when I was like exploring the chunks and whatnot, and I'm going to set up the village over there instead, because I think honestly that might be a much better location. It is a bit farther than the spots we had picked out before, because originally we were going to do it here, and then there was a spot over there behind this hill that I was originally thinking. But the problem with those two areas is that there's just like nothing, and it's also very like hilly. Like there's a lot of these big old just kind of plateau type hills and just a lot of bumps and dips and things like that, and it just would require like a lot of terraforming to get it to a point that, you know, it would actually look decent. For the most part, it just kind of looks like Windows XP background. So I want to pick a different spot, and I already have a spot outside of the old generation that I think would be perfect. So what I think I'll do instead of building a settlement or a village or whatever inside of the old chunks, I'm going to build outside of the big chunk or the old chunks. And this is just going to end up turning into like a large, kind of like, if you know, like nature reserves, it's going to be kind of like that. So there'll be like a wall or a fence or whatever that'll go around the entirety of the old generation. And there will be gates that'll enter in. So there's going to be one over there, because there's a spot over that way that we explored in episode 2 that looks like a really nice place to build. And then there's another spot that way that I'm going to show you guys in a moment that I really like. And we'll build villages on those bits of land, but everything inside of here will just end up being like, just preserved, I guess you could say, more or less. So, yeah, let's go ahead and grab ourselves some resources to just kind of like lay out the buildings. We're not going to build anything specifically, but we are going to lay the foundations for it. So, yeah. And in like the absence between the last cut and this one, I set up these little pillars and whatnot to kind of guide us towards where I want to build, because I realized since it's so far away from the spawn pillar and everything, and hidden by mountains, you can kind of see some of the pillars going off in that direction. I needed a way to kind of find my way around. So this is going to be it, these little pillars with torches on top of them. So yeah, I will see you guys over there. All right, so we're now over by the area that I have decided to build the village at, the place I finally settled on. The old generation ends like right about over there. You can see like the big wall over there that we were standing on, earlier in the episode, looking out over these hills. And then this is the other side of that massive like anvil-shaped cliff that we were looking at before. We were looking at it from this side, right over here. And from this side, it looks like a pretty thick mountain with like this big overhang section over here. But then you come over to this side, and as you probably saw, it's a lot more overhangy on this side as well. So yeah, you can see here, just giant, like, it looks so bizarre, but honestly, I think this is pretty cool. Kind of adds a natural landmark. But you might have noticed that there's already some stuff here. I did, in between some of the clips, I did come through here and start kind of like pre-planning some of the stuff, because I was looking at this area and I'm like, man, this is like a nice area. There's not too many dips and bumps and things like that I have to really like fill in. And there's a lot of really naturally beautiful sites around here, like these giant mountains and things like that, these little ponds and rivers and things. And I saw this spot here, like this part, and I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of one of the pathways to Liyue from Mondstadt, if you guys played Genshin Impact before. Don't worry, I don't play it anymore in case you're one of those people who hates it, but when I did play it, I really did enjoy just walking around, because I thought a lot of the locations were very beautiful. And this little like sandbar thing kind of reminds me of one of the pathways to Liyue, because it kind of follows a river or whatever, and it has like this natural walkway made up of this kind of terrain or whatever. But yeah, I was thinking over there is the pillars that stretch off in that direction towards spawn. And I was thinking that I could make a pathway that kind of like follows those pillars or whatever, like loosely. And then over here, we have a bridge that comes over to here, probably a wooden one. And then walk down this little pathway. The stone blocks are meant to kind of like indicate where the path goes and whatnot. But we just follow it down this little sand dune. I wouldn't have to do much decorating, like just add a little bit of extra blocks in here to kind of make it look more like an actual trail. And then we get to here. I'm thinking of maybe digging out this sand portion and making a bridge here as well, so that boats and things can actually go from over there to over here. So that might be something to do. And then over here, we're going to have a diagonal staircase that comes up onto this little area and just kind of follows this way, like kind of a main road, I guess you could say. And currently it just stops here. I haven't decided on where it's going to go next. And I've got one little house right here in the works. Just like the foundation of a house. So let's see, is this? Yeah, it is. So yeah, this is the foundation. And this is basically what we're going to do. I'm going to place these little stone things to indicate walkways. I'm gonna put these little wood structures down to indicate buildings. And yeah, this will just be the rest of the episode. And, I'll just show you guys what it is I do after I'm done doing it. So yeah, I'll be with you in a moment. All right, so the laying out of the village is now done. It only took me an entire night to do, but it is looking pretty cool, honestly. So nothing over here has changed. The pathway is all the same, and this building I just finished. I fully built it. But yeah, we got this main walkway here. This is gonna be the main road that'll go down that way. But there's also a secondary road now that goes this way through all of these different buildings. So each of these wooden boxes is the outline of a potential building. The shape, let's watch the pig commit Sudoku, but anyway, or Sudoku, I don't know. You can correct me in the comments, but in any case, yeah, each of these is a rough outline of what will be a building. Their shape might change whenever I do actually get around to building them, but for the most part, they do their job. But yeah, we got some walkways going off this way, going off that way. Got this main walkway here that goes directly through the main clump of buildings. And then both the main and offshoot connect here at this little Y intersection. There's a couple houses here. I might add some more houses around here, but we'll just have to see. In any case, though, this walkway continues off in this direction, and then it shoots off that way and this way because I want to explore in that direction, and I think it might be really cool. But yeah, it comes off this way, and then there's this intersection here. That way goes off into the bushes. This way goes back into the village, and across this little hole, you got this little offshoot that goes into that cave, so that's gonna be like the blacksmith or something, or just like that's where the miners are gonna go and do mining related activities. And then you can see there's the main road up there. You got this road here that comes down to the shore, and he's got these little houses or buildings here. And right here is going to be a staircase leading up this little bit here, which connects here to here. And basically what I'm thinking is that there's going to be like a little quad intersection right here. So this way, this way, this way, this way. And yeah, there's going to have to be some terraforming, obviously. I'm going to have to level out some of the ground, add in the walkways and things like that, which will probably have like a wall or something that kind of hangs over. This cave entrance is going to have to get changed up because there's a lot of like top holes and things like that. This is going to have to get filled in. There's a little cave over here that I'm going to have to explore and fill in. But for the most part, this is a good start for the village. All the buildings are where I think they'd make the most sense. I've got a good idea for, what to do with a lot of these buildings, and it's just a really nice looking area. So I think that is going to do it for this version of Infdev. I would like to move on to the next one, which, if I remember correctly, we're going to be getting access to, I think it's saddles and minecarts. I might be wrong. I'll have to double check. But in any case, we'll see what the next version brings. And I don't know if we're going to continue the village. Like, I don't know if we're going to actually start working on the buildings themselves. I might actually wait until maybe like alpha or something like that to start doing all of that. But in any case, this is a nice place to leave off. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Infdev and Beyond, and I will see you guys in the next episode and the next version. Oh, hello, zombie. Bye-bye, everybody. Get dunked on.